Could I ask, Bonaventure, I'll come back to a moment, could I ask Mulana here, what does the Muslim believe about Jesus Christ? Mr. Deere at the beginning indicated that a lot of what we believe about Jesus Christ is in fact part of Islam. Could you tell us what it is mainly that Islam believes of Jesus Christ, and where perhaps you stop and we carry on?
We firmly believe that Jesus Christ is the messenger of God and a divinely guided book. You may call it the Bible, and the Quran called it the Injil, has been revealed to him. But where we differ is this: the Holy Quran bears proof to this, that the changes unfortunately have been made in the Bible. Jesus Christ is a beloved of God. Where we differ, we do not use the term son, because there is a chance of misleading the unwary masses. And we believe that he has not been crucified. Somebody else has been crucified in his place, and he has been raised up to the fourth heaven, and before the day of judgment he is going to make his reappearance. This has been stated over and over by the Holy Prophet of Islam, and we believe that he is a human being.
Yes, not divine.
Not divine as such.
In the sense, Bill, you see, that he is one of the mightiest messengers of God. He is the Messiah.
Yes.
We believe in his miraculous birth. We believe that he gave life to
you mean the virgin birth?
Virgin birth.
Yes.
Without any male intervention, he was born. We believe that he gave life to the dead by God's permission. He healed those born blind and the lepers by God's permission. The only way we really differ is that we say he is not God Almighty in human form. He is not God incarnate. And he is not the begotten Son of God.
And he was not crucified.
But all that would be secondary if on this main difference is that he is not God. Because if he was crucified, if he was not God, his crucifixion is useless. Suppose he was not a divinity. Any human being giving his life, he couldn't have redeemed mankind. So in the fundamental that he is not God, and he is not the begotten Son of God. These are the main differences. The rest we can easily accommodate and understand each other's points of view.
Bonaventure.
Ahmed, I'd like to take you up on a couple of points.
Yes.
The one is that, you were saying just now that, in a sense, Islam is more faithful to Jesus than what we presented Christianity as, because of the call to keep the commandments. But I think you might remember that Jesus himself and other New Testament writers, explaining his message, did sum up all the commandments in love. And if you were listening to me carefully, I did say several times that the important thing about or what one really needs in order to enter into God's salvation is to go out of oneself in love towards God and towards other people. By doing this, one necessarily keeps all the commandments, because love does no harm to anyone, and all the commandments are basically there to show us how to live with other people without doing any harm to them, as a matter of fact, impossibly to do good to them. If we come to the point of Jesus himself there, I think there are two things we need to say. The first is that, as far as I understand, the reason why Islam rejects the idea that Jesus died is because of a theological principle, namely that God does not allow his prophets to suffer at the hands of unrighteous men. Therefore, if Jesus was a prophet of God, he couldn't have suffered at the hands of unrighteous people.
No, I beg to differ with you. The Holy Quran is very explicit on this. It describes in detail how various prophets of God have gone through hardship and have been murdered by so many tribes and so on. Where we get the idea that he was not crucified as such is from the Holy Quran itself, which we regard as a divine book and a message of God revealed to the prophet. And this rejection is not meant as an insult, but as a correction of attitude, because God says that I know better.
Bill, may I carry on there with that point? I think this brings us to two other things that are important. The one is that, again, as I understand it, and as I think you've said several times, Morani, that for Islam, God's revelation is a book. whereas for Christianity, God's revelation is a person, Jesus Christ. And our New Testament is merely a description, inspired, true enough, of Jesus Christ, his life, his work, and his teachings.
I think
the other
you
thing is
have...
this too, if I may just finish off, that the reason why, again, you find it necessary to reject the idea that Jesus is divine and we find it acceptable is because of a difference of the concept of oneness. That in the Islamic view of oneness, as I understand it, it is a mathematical oneness. In other words, just a single, if one might call it this way, grey circle, undifferentiated. Whereas the Christian concept of oneness is essentially the oneness of community. In other words, that oneness of persons so utterly and totally given to each other and open to receive each other that they only form one single life unit. In other words, it's, if you like, a social rather than a mathematical concept of unity. And I think this is important, to see the underlying ideas that are at work here.
I think the time has come.
Father,
Sorry, Mr. Dear.